Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. India is my life, and I love India. Now, I know some people say that like it's just words, but me, when I say it, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You see, this country, this land, this heartbeat called India, this is not just where I live, this is who I am. India is a place that don't just give you a flag and an anthem, it gives you an identity. You walk outside and you smell the food, you hear the music, you see the colors. Man, you feel India. You can't ignore it. India doesn't whisper. India speaks loud, bold, unapologetic. And I love that. Let me break it down for you. When I wake up in the morning, I don't just see the sun rise, I see the sun touching the same soil where kings once walked, where saints prayed, where freedom fighters bled, where dreams were born. That's not just history, that's my inheritance. That's why when I say, India is my life, I don't play with those words. Now, people often ask me, what makes India so special to you? And I laugh because how do you fit India into one answer? India is millions of voices, billions of dreams, 1,000 languages, countless stories. India is that grandmother who will still give you food even if her own plate is empty. India is that young kid studying under a streetlight, dreaming of becoming a scientist. India is that soldier standing on the border in the freezing cold saying, you sleep, I'll protect. That's India. You know what I love the most? India doesn't quit. We've been through struggles, through storms, through battles, through pain. But every single time, India stood back up, bruised maybe, but never broken. That's the spirit I love. That's the spirit that makes me proud to say, yes, this is my life, this is my love. And let me tell you, India will test you. Oh yes, India will test your patience. The traffic, the heat, the chaos, you better know what I'm talking about. But you know what? That's what makes India so real. You can't fake it here. India teaches you how to hustle, how to survive, how to smile even when things don't go your way. That's a life lesson you don't get in books. You get it right here on these streets. You want to see diversity. Come to India. You can travel from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, and every step you take, you'll find a new flavor, a new song, a new story. And yet, listen carefully, even with all that difference, when the time comes, we stand as one. That's the magic, that's the power. And I'll be real with you, loving India isn't about saying everything is perfect. No, no, no. We got challenges, we got problems. But love isn't about perfection, it's about commitment. And I'm committed to India the way a heart is committed to beating. Because I believe in this country, I believe in its people, I believe in its future. India is my temple, India is my teacher, India is my home. When I laugh, when I cry, when I succeed, when I fail, India is right there with me. That's why I say it loud, that's why I say it proud. India is my life, and I love India. India is not just my country, it is my identity, my heartbeat, my life. To say those words is not to simply claim citizenship or acknowledge a birthplace. It is to recognize something much deeper. Something that lives in the veins and beats in the rhythm of every breath. India is not a location I point to on a map. It is the foundation of who I am, the soil that shaped me, the culture that raised me, and the spirit that fuels me every single day. When I say India is my identity, I am not just speaking about a passport or a piece of paper. I am talking about the essence that runs through me. The traditions I follow, the languages I hear, the festivals I celebrate, the values I uphold. All of that forms my identity. And all of it comes from India. You see, identity is not built in isolation. It is born from the stories we grow up with, the heroes we admire, the struggles we learn from, and the victories we celebrate. India gave me stories of courage from freedom fighters who refused to bow down, stories of saints and philosophers who spread wisdom that still guides the world, stories of kings and queens who built empires not just of land but of culture. When I look at my reflection, I see not just myself, but a continuation of those legacies. I see the fingerprints of India shaping my identity in every possible way. India is my heartbeat because it is alive in every sound I hear and every sight I see. The beat of a drum during a festival, the chants in a temple, the azan echoing at dawn, the laughter of children in a small village, the whistle of a train cutting across cities, all of it comes together like one giant heartbeat that never stops. It is restless, it is chaotic, but it is alive and it keeps me alive. Without that heartbeat, life would be empty, colorless, without meaning. That is why when I say India is my heartbeat, I mean it is the rhythm that keeps me moving forward, the pulse that connects me to something larger than myself. India is my life because everything I am, everything I hope to be, and everything I dream of is tied to this land. From the food that nourishes me to the education that shapes me, from the opportunities that challenge me to the failures that humble me, India is always present. When I see the farmers in the fields, I am reminded that they feed me. When I see the scientists in labs, I am reminded that they inspire me. When I see soldiers on the border, I am reminded that they protect me. India breathes life into me, not in one way, but in countless ways, ways I sometimes forget to notice, yet ways I can never deny. When I walk through the streets of India, I don't just see crowds, I see reflections of myself. The old man selling tea on the corner has a story that could be my story. The child running barefoot on dusty roads chasing a kite has dreams that echo my dreams. The woman carrying water under the scorching sun has strength that inspires my strength. Every person is a mirror. Every moment is a reminder. Every corner is a piece of life that adds to mine. That is why India is not separate from me. It is me. Loving India in this way is not blind love. It is knowing love. I see its flaws. I see its struggles. I see its challenges. But I also see its unmatched potential, its unstoppable energy, and its unshakable spirit. Identity is not about perfection. It is about belonging. A heartbeat is not always steady, but it still keeps you alive. A life is not without problems, but it is still worth living. India is all of that, imperfect but precious, complicated but beautiful, sometimes heavy, but always worth holding on to. When the national flag waves, it is not just cloth fluttering in the air, it is my heartbeat rising. When the anthem plays, it is not just music, it is my identity singing. When the land itself calls, it is not just soil, it is life speaking to me. That connection is something words can barely capture, but feelings can never deny. India is not just a country I live in, it is the country that lives in me. This is why, when I speak about India being my identity, my heartbeat, and my life, it is not an exaggeration, it is the truth. It is the truth I wake up to each morning and the truth I carry with me wherever I go. No matter where the road takes me, no matter what success or failure I encounter, I remain tied to this one undeniable fact. I am India and India is me. The spirit of India is resiliency, bruised at times, but never broken. When you look at the history of this land, you don't just see dates and events, you see an unshakable will, a determination to rise every time the world tried to push it down. This resilience is not something that can be taught in classrooms. It is not something you can borrow or imitate. It is something that flows in the air and the soil, in the veins of every Indian. It is resilience that makes a farmer sow seeds even after a drought. Resilience that makes a student from a small village dream of reaching the stars. Resilience that makes an ordinary family smile through extraordinary hardships. India carries scars, but those scars are not signs of defeat. They are symbols of survival. They are proof that no matter what happens, this land refuses to give up. The story of resilience begins long before independence. For centuries, invaders came, empires rose and fell. Battles were fought, rulers tried to erase what India was. But India never let go of its essence. Every time an empire crumbled, the culture survived, the traditions survived, the people survived. That is resilience. A civilization that has existed for thousands of years has not done so by luck or chance. It has done so by the power to adapt, to endure, and to move forward. India took every blow, absorbed every challenge, and turned it into strength. Even when chains of oppression tried to silence it, the voice of resilience never stopped echoing. When freedom fighters stood against colonial rule, it was resilience that gave them courage. Men and women walked into prisons, faced bullets, endured hunger, and yet held on to hope. They were beaten but not broken, silenced but not subdued. Their spirit was not fueled by weapons or wealth. It was fueled by resilience. The same resilience that had carried India for centuries. It was the fire that turned despair into determination, weakness into strength, and bondage into freedom. That spirit is what defines India. Resilience is not only written in history books, it is visible every single day in the lives of ordinary people. A street vendor who loses his stall in a storm comes back the next morning with his cart rebuilt. A child who studies under a streetlight because there is no electricity in her house continues night after night, believing that one day knowledge will change her life. A family that loses everything in a flood picks up the pieces and starts again. That quiet persistence, that refusal to surrender is the heartbeat of India. It is not loud, it is not always dramatic, but is steady, unshakable, and eternal. Even in the face of disasters, whether natural calamities or human-made challenges, India has shown the world what resilience looks like. Earthquakes have shaken cities, floods have drowned villages, yet communities have come together, rebuilding brick by brick, hand in hand. Terror has struck in crowded markets and on peaceful nights, but instead of living in fear, people light lamps, march forward, and remind the world that they cannot be broken. Resilience is not just about surviving, it is about living with courage, about refusing to let fear dictate the future. What makes India's resilience remarkable is that it is not limited to survival. It transforms hardship into progress. In the ruins of destruction, new beginnings rise. In the ashes of loss, innovations are born. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone. Every setback becomes a lesson. Resilience teaches India not only to recover, but to reinvent, not only to endure, but to grow. This is why India stands today not just as an ancient civilization, but as a modern power, holding on to its roots while reaching for the future. Resilience is also in the unity of its people. With so many languages, religions, and traditions, differences are inevitable, conflicts do arise, but when the nation is tested, those differences fade and resilience shines through. People come together, shoulder to shoulder, reminding themselves in the world that unity is their greatest strength. Whether it is standing behind soldiers at the border, supporting farmers in the fields, or helping strangers in times of crisis, resilience shows itself not in individual victories, but in collective courage. There is a special beauty in the way India's resilience carries hope. It is not blind optimism. It is not naive dreaming. It is the steady belief that tomorrow can be better, that the struggle of today will give birth to the success of tomorrow. It is resilience that lets a child from a slum become a leader, an artist, a doctor, an innovator. It is resilience that lets a nation once broken by colonization rise to become one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Hope alone is fragile, but when it is powered by resilience, it becomes unstoppable. India's resilience is not an idea in theory, it is a lived reality. It is seen in the eyes of mothers who sacrifice for their children, in the determination of workers who toil through the night, in the silence of soldiers who keep watch at borders, in the ladder of people who still find joy despite difficulties. This resilience is not borrowed from anywhere else. It is born from centuries of struggle, nourished by faith, strengthened by unity, and carried forward by every generation. That is why the spirit of India can be described in one word: resilience. Bruised, yes, because no nation escapes hardship, no life escapes struggle, but never broken, because breaking would mean giving up, and giving up has never been an option for this land or its people. Resilience is not just what India has, it is what India is. India's strength lies in its diversity. Countless voices, yet one nation. To understand this is to understand the very essence of what makes India unlike any other place in the world. Diversity here is not a simple matter of different languages or different foods. It is a way of life, a rhythm that flows through every street, every festival, every conversation. From the Himalayas in the north to the oceans in the south, from the deserts of the west to the rainforests of the east, the land itself tells a story of variety. Each region has its own climate, its own crops, its own traditions, yet all of it comes together under the same name, India. The strength of the nation does not lie in sameness. It lies in the ability to embrace difference and still remain united. When you walk through India, you hear languages shifting with every 100 kilometers. Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, Gujarati, Punjabi, Marathi, Telugu, Urdu, Malayalam, Kannada, Assamese, Odia, and countless dialects in between. Yet somehow people communicate, people connect, people understand one another. The magic is not that everyone speaks the same tongue. The magic is that respect allows them to hear each other. This linguistic diversity is not a weakness. It is proof that a country can house many identities and still beat with one heart. Every language is a thread, and together they weave the fabric of a nation that is rich, colorful, and unbreakable. Religion adds another layer to this diversity. In one neighborhood, a temple bell rings. In another, a mosque calls to prayer. Down the street, a church choir sings. And not far away, a Gurdwara serves free meals to all who enter. This coexistence is not always simple, but it is powerful. It teaches the lesson that faith, no matter what form it takes, has space under the vast sky of India. Festivals of every faith become festivals for all. Diwali lights up not just Hindu homes, but entire cities. Eid is celebrated with neighbors sharing sweets across communities. Christmas trees shine in marketplaces where people of every background gather. Gurpurab, Holi, Pongal, Basak, Onam all become collective celebrations. Diversity in faith becomes not a dividing line, but a reason for joy, a reminder that strength comes from the ability to honor many paths while walking together. Culture in India is an ocean without end. Every state has its own music, its own dance, its own attire, its own cuisine. One part of the country celebrates Bharatanatyam, another cherishes Kathak, another treasures Manipuri or Odissi. From the drums of Punjab to the classical ragas of Varanasi, from the folk songs of Rajasthan to the Carnatic symphonies of the South, every sound carries identity, yet together they carry pride. The foods tell the same story. Spices of Kerala, sweets of Bengal, breads of Punjab, street food of Mumbai, thalas of Gujarat, each unique, each distinct, yet all part of the same endless feast called Indian cuisine. The strength is not in choosing one over the other. The strength is in having them all, in celebrating the variety that makes the nation so alive. Even geography mirrors this diversity. Snow-capped mountains guard the north. Vast plains feed millions in the center. Deserts stand timeless in the west, rainforests flourish in the northeast, beaches and backwaters line the south. Each region shapes the people who live there, influences the traditions, creates the lifestyles, yet the land as a whole remains bound together. The farmer in Punjab and the fisherman in Kerala may live entirely different lives, but both are Indians. Both belong to the same story. This unity across landscapes is not accidental. It is the strength of a people who know that variety does not erase belonging. Politics and governance in India also demonstrate this diversity. Different states, different leaders, different parties, different priorities, yet the democratic system allows them all to have a voice. Every citizen has the right to speak, to vote, to participate, and in a country so large and varied, this is nothing short of remarkable. It proves that diversity does not silence unity. Rather, it strengthens it by ensuring that every voice has its place. The strength of the nation comes from hearing the quietest voice as much as the loudest. This diversity also fuels creativity and innovation. Writers, poets, artists, filmmakers, and scientists draw inspiration from the multitude of experiences around them. Literature in India is not limited to one language. It thrives in dozens. Cinema does not exist in one industry. It blossoms in many. Bollywood, Tollywood, Collywood, and beyond. Science and technology grow not from one perspective, but from the combined brilliance of minds shaped by different cultures and experiences. Diversity becomes the seedbed of imagination, and imagination becomes the power that drives the nation forward. Challenges do come with such vast diversity. Differences can create misunderstanding, friction, even conflict. But the remarkable truth is that despite all of this, the nation stands united. Time and again, when tested, the people of India have shown that what connects them is stronger than what divides them. In moments of crisis, diversity does not weaken the bond, it strengthens it. It reminds everyone that unity is not about being the same, it is about standing together in spite of being different. India's diversity is not a burden, it is its greatest strength. It gives the country resilience, it gives it creativity, it gives it wisdom, it teaches lessons of tolerance, patience, and acceptance that the world can learn from. To live in India is to live in a place where countless voices rise, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in disagreement, but always with the power of one nation. To love India is to love this mosaic, to see beauty and variety, and to understand that unity is not the absence of difference, but the celebration of it. Loving India is not about perfection. It's about commitment to its future. Perfection is an illusion, something no nation, no person, no society can ever truly claim. Every country carries its struggles, its contradictions, its flaws, and India is no different. Yet love does not fade because of imperfection. Love grows stronger because it is tested through those imperfections. To love India means to look at its challenges not with despair but with determination, to see beyond the cracks and focus on the foundation, to know that commitment is far more valuable than a flawless picture. Love for a nation is not measured by how much we admire its beauty, but by how much we are willing to do to make it better, stronger, and brighter for the generations to come. India has its share of problems: poverty that still grips too many, inequality that still divides, corruption that still lingers, pollution that still suffocates cities, education that still struggles to reach every child. These are not things to be hidden or denied. They are realities that demand attention. But true love is not blind to reality. It sees it clearly and still chooses to stay. The easy way out is to complain, to point fingers, to compare India to other nations and list what is missing. The harder way, the way of true commitment, is to ask, what can I do? How can I help change this? How can I build a future where these flaws become stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks? That is the kind of love India deserves. Commitment means patience, and India requires patience. With its size, with its population, with its complexity, change cannot happen overnight. Building roads, strengthening systems, reforming education, cleaning rivers, creating jobs, all these things take time, effort, and persistence. A citizen committed to India's future understands this and does not give up when progress feels slow. Commitment is choosing to stay engaged, to keep believing, to keep pushing forward even when setbacks appear. It is the same commitment that made freedom fighters continue their struggle for decades without knowing when victory would arrive. That same spirit must guide every citizen now, because the future of India is not a gift, it is a responsibility. Loving India means contributing in whatever way one can. Not everyone can stand in parliament, not everyone can serve in the army, not everyone can lead massive projects, but everyone can do something. A teacher shaping young minds in a rural classroom is building India's future. An engineer designing sustainable technologies is building India's future. A farmer growing food for millions is building India's future. A citizen who obeys the law, pays taxes, and respects others is building India's future. The greatness of India's future does not depend on one hero, but on millions of ordinary people who make extraordinary efforts in their own ways. Commitment also means defending India when it is unfairly judged, but holding it accountable when it falls short. True love is balanced. It does not mean blindly praising everything, Nor does it mean constant criticism. It means knowing when to protect and when to correct. If outsiders misunderstand India, love demands we explain its richness, its potential, its uniqueness. But if corruption harms progress or injustice threatens harmony, love demands we speak out, demand better, and work for solutions. This balance is what keeps commitment honest and strong. India's future is not only about solving problems, it is about nurturing dreams. Loving India means believing in its youth, believing in its innovators, believing in its visionaries. It means encouraging creativity, supporting education, empowering women, uplifting the marginalized, and ensuring that every child can dream without limits. Commitment to the future is about planting seeds of opportunity today so that tomorrow the nation grows taller, stronger, and more inclusive. Every act of mentorship, every scholarship, every act of encouragement is a brick in the structure of India's future. Commitment also requires unity. India's diversity is a gift, but it can only remain a strength if it is tied together with the thread of mutual respect. Loving India means rising above divisions of caste, religion, language, and region, because the future will only be bright if the nation moves forward as one. No single community can carry the weight of the future alone. It demands the energy, creativity, and participation of all. Commitment to India's future means building bridges instead of walls, seeking common ground instead of endless conflict. Loving India in this way is an everyday practice. It is in the small decisions as much as the big ones. Choosing not to litter, supporting local businesses, volunteering for community service, voting responsibly, speaking respectfully. These may seem like small acts, but together they shape the kind of nation we pass on. Commitment is not proven in grand gestures alone. It is proven in consistency, in doing the right thing day after day, whether the world is watching or not. The future of India is a canvas not yet painted, and every citizen holds a brush. Some will paint with bold strokes, some with fine details, but all must paint with care. To love India is to take responsibility for the picture we leave behind. It is easy to stand on the sidelines and hope someone else creates the masterpiece. It is harder, but infinitely more meaningful, to step forward and be part of the creation. India's future is not built by chance, it is built by choice. The choice to stay, the choice to work, the choice to believe, the choice to love even when things are not perfect. That choice is what makes love for India real. India teaches you survival, hustle, patience, and pride in who you are. From the moment you step into the rhythm of this country, you realize life here is not always easy, but it is always full of lessons. Every street, every marketplace, every village, and every city has its own way of teaching you what it means to keep moving forward, no matter the challenge. India does not hand you everything on a silver platter. It pushes you, tests you, and often makes you work harder than you thought you could. But in doing so, it shapes you into someone stronger, sharper, and more aware of your own resilience. Survival in India is not about simply existing. It is about finding ways to thrive even when circumstances seem impossible. You see survival in the farmer who wakes up before dawn, battling unpredictable weather and difficult conditions, yet still manages to bring food to millions of tables. You see it in the daily wage laborer who works tirelessly in the scorching sun just to provide a meal for his family at night. You see it in the shopkeeper who keeps his store open from morning till midnight because he knows every small earning matters. Survival here is about adaptability, about bending without breaking, about learning to find strength in places you never thought you had. And once you've lived through this, nothing in the world can shake you, because India equips you with the skills to endure. But survival alone is not enough. India also teaches you hustle. The hustle is in the streets of Mumbai, where thousands chase their dreams, in the startups of Bengaluru, where young minds innovate, in the classrooms where students burn the midnight oil for exams that could change their lives. The hustle is in the countless businesses, from small vendors selling tea on the roadside to corporations reaching global markets. Hustle means working hard, working smart, and never settling for less than your best. India teaches you that opportunities may not fall into your lap, but if you are ready to push, to grind, to hustle every day, you can create those opportunities yourself. It is this culture of hustle that has taken people from small towns and placed them on global stages, proving that no dream is too big when the hustle is alive within you. Patience is another lesson India offers every day. With a population as large as this, with systems as complex as ours, patience is not optional, it is necessary. You learn patience in a traffic jam that seems never ending, in a queue that stretches longer than you expected, in the delays and setbacks that come with building something in a country of such vast scale. Patience is what allows people to endure difficulties without giving up, to hold on to their dreams even when success feels far away. A student preparing for competitive exams year after year learns patience. A farmer waiting for rain after a dry spell learns patience. An entrepreneur facing failure after failure before finally finding success learns patience. India teaches you that good things don't always come fast, but if you can wait, if you can persist, they will come. Patience here is not passive. It is active endurance, a belief that tomorrow will be worth the wait. And through all this, through survival, hustle, and patience, India instills in you pride in who you are. This pride is not arrogance. It is a quiet strength, a deep knowing that no matter the struggles, you come from a culture, a history, and a heritage that is unmatched. Pride comes from knowing you belong to a land that gave the world mathematics, yoga, philosophy, literature, art, and spirituality. It comes from seeing how people in India, despite hardship, find reasons to celebrate life with festivals, with colors, with songs, with dances. It comes from knowing that being Indian is not just about being part of a country. It is about being part of a civilization that has survived and thrived for thousands of years. This pride is also personal. It is the pride of wearing your traditions while still embracing modernity. It is the pride of speaking your mother tongue while also connecting with the world in global languages. It is the pride of seeing Indian scientists send missions to space, Indian athletes bring home medals, Indian artists make their mark across the globe. This pride is in every Indian who works hard, who holds on, who rises up, and who represents the values and culture of this land. India teaches you to stand tall, not because life here is perfect, but because life here proves that imperfection does not diminish worth. When you combine survival hustle, patience, and pride, you get a unique strength that is hard to find elsewhere. Survival sharpens your instincts, hustle fuels your ambition, patience strengthens your endurance, and pride reminds you of your worth. These four together create a mindset that can handle challenges anywhere in the world. It is why Indians, no matter where they go, carry with them resilience, determination, and a deep sense of identity. They have been trained by their land to fight through obstacles, to wait for the right moment, to chase their goals relentlessly, and to always remember where they come from. India is a classroom without walls, a teacher without books, a guide without lectures. Its lessons are written in everyday life, in the struggles and triumphs of its people, in the chaos and beauty of its streets, in the silence of its villages, and in the noise of its cities. Those who grow here learn how to survive against odds, how to hustle for dreams, how to be patient with time, and how to carry themselves with pride. These lessons don't just make you stronger for yourself, they prepare you to contribute to others, to society, to the nation, and to the world. It is in this way that India, often without even saying a word, teaches every soul it touches what it means to live with strength, to move with purpose, and to believe in the power of who you are. India is my temple, India is my teacher, India is my home, and I love it with all my soul. To call India a temple is to recognize the sacredness of the land itself, a place where every stone, every river, every mountain carries a sense of divinity. The temple is not just a structure made of carved walls and tall spires. It is the soil that has absorbed the prayers of countless generations. It is the Ganga flowing as a lifeline of faith. It is the Himalayas standing tall as guardians of strength. India as a temple is not about one religion or one belief. It is about the spiritual essence that runs through the nation, where respect for life, for nature, for wisdom becomes a way of living. Every village shrine, every grand mosque, every humble church, every Gurdwara on the roadside, they are all pieces of the same temple that is India. To live here is to walk on sacred ground, to feel that wherever you stand in a place where human devotion has touched the divine. To call India a teacher is to acknowledge the lessons it gives every single day. Teachers do not always make life easy, and India is the same. The lessons come in challenges, in setbacks, in struggles, but they also come in joy, in celebration, in triumph. India teaches humility when you see a poor man share his last piece of bread with someone hungrier than him. India teaches gratitude when you see families find happiness in simple moments despite having little. India teaches resilience when you watch a community rebuild after a disaster. India teaches innovation when a student builds something new out of limited resources. The classroom is not confined to four walls. It is the streets filled with vendors negotiating prices. The farms where labor never stops. The offices where young professionals chase ambition. The homes where generations live together, teaching each other respect and care. India does not just give you knowledge, it gives you wisdom, a deeper understanding of how to live, how to endure, and how to grow. India also teaches through its history, through the sacrifices of freedom fighters, through the courage of soldiers, through the determination of leaders who carried the weight of millions on their shoulders. It teaches through its literature, its poetry, its scriptures, its art that stretches back thousands of years. It teaches through the mistakes it has made, reminding us that even nations stumble, but what matters is how they rise again. Every lesson is imprinted in its people, who carry forward the values of unity, tolerance, and perseverance. To be a student of India is to constantly learn that life is not about easy victories, but about meaningful journeys, and that dignity comes not from what you have, but from what you give. To call India home is to recognize the belonging it provides. Home is not about walls and roofs. It is about comfort, about identity, about a place that welcomes you no matter how far you wander. India as home means you can be in any corner of the world. But when you smell the spices of Indian food or hear the sound of your mother tongue, your heart instantly feels warm. It means no matter how many countries you visit, you always long for the monsoon rains, the festive lights, the crowded bazaars, the sound of laughter spilling from families sitting together at night. India is home because it holds your memories, your childhood, your roots. It is where your ancestors walked, where your traditions began, where your name finds meaning. It is where, despite all the chaos and noise, you feel safe, connected, whole. Home also means responsibility. Just as you clean and care for your house, you must also nurture and protect your homeland. India as home is not something to be taken for granted. It is something to be cherished and built upon. The roads, the schools, the hospitals, the rivers, the forests, the heritage sites, all are part of this shared home. To love India as home means to look after it, to contribute to its well-being, to ensure it remains a place where future generations feel the same warmth and belonging. It means standing up for it when it is threatened, working for it when it needs strength, and celebrating it when it shines. The love that ties temple, teacher, and home together is a love that runs deeper than words. It is a love that comes not just from pride, but from connection, from unbreakable bond with the land and the people. This love is not shallow admiration. It is devotion, respect, and loyalty. When you see India as a temple, you honor it. When you see India as a teacher, you learn from it. When you see India as a home, you protect it. Each of these roles shapes the way you understand what it means to belong here, what it means to be part of something larger than yourself. In the temple that is India, you bow your head in reverence. In the classroom that is India, you open your mind to wisdom. In the home that is India, you open your heart to belonging. These three together create a relationship unlike any other, a relationship that cannot be broken by distance, by time, or by struggle. To live in India, to grow in India, to carry India within you is to carry faith, knowledge, and belonging in the deepest part of your soul.